Hello and good day. This is Punchline, and we are First News Nation. On Punchline, of course, we discuss national politics. I am Sami Ajifo. It's always a privilege to have you join us. Every day of the Tinubu presidency, there's something political to talk about, and it's giving us engagement. God knows whether for the next 4 years or for the 8 years of his tenure. Let's go ahead for a short break, but before we do that, just remember to follow us on all our social media handles: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, or on YouTube. Go ahead and follow us at First News Nation. Enable notifications by clicking on that bell, so every time we have a new show, you will know. We'll be right back. You're welcome back. It's still Punchline, and I'm still Sami Ajifo. Let's talk about the just concluded Senate presidency elections that just took place in Abuja and the controversies that have surrounded it. It's not about who voted or who didn't vote, even though that's going to be part of my own treatise. But the conversation for many today and going forward will be the statements made by a distinguished Senator Ali Ndume, representing Borno State in the Senate. He had tried for Senate presidency several times. He'd even tried in the last 4 years to become Senate president, but he was unable to do that because Ahmed Lawan had won. But Ali Ndume was on Channels TV with Shehu Akimbaloye, and he made some declarations that got tongues wagging. Watch this video. We'll be right back.
It's almost a repetition of the same thing. The party and the president had a preferred candidate, but this president, because he's experienced politician, played a lot of politics in it. So he deployed his foot soldiers to complement our effort, and that made a difference. The vice president was on it. He himself was calling some people. And this afternoon when we visited...
The President Tinubu called people by himself.
He went to some people even. It's politics.
He went to visit senators?
He sneaked out and visited some people, begged them to support, and he has his reasons. As I said, I was convinced. His reasons are convincing. Up initial. Get somebody from South out to be the Senate president, or get somebody, because the South didn't have it since 1999. Now we have changed or made history by having somebody from South. And as you can see from day one, I don't know whether you listened to or you watched the acceptance speech or
I was monitoring how to.
Okay, you see that Opabio has what it takes to deliver. And we are there too to give him the support. The president is an experienced politician. He is a senator. I said it. His vice president is a senator. Everybody is virtually the chief of staff, SGF. All these people are from the legislative. They have legislative experience, and that means they are connected to the grassroots.
You're welcome back. We're still talking about that video you just watched about what Ali Ndume said about President Bola Ahmed Tinubu sneaking out to meet with lawmakers, yes, meeting with lawmakers to influence the winning of Godswill Akpabio, making him the Senate president and the leader of the 10th National Assembly. It's brought a lot of questions, but before we go into that, don't forget to drop your comments about this conversation in the comment section below. For many who don't know, let's just try do you know, something like that. Do you know that the number 1 to number 4 man in the Nigerian leadership, the president, the vice president, the Senate president, and maybe we can call the SGF the number 4 man, they're all former governors. Governor of Lagos, governors of Akwa Ibom, governors of Borno State and Benue State. So we've had, for the first time, 4 former governors as president, vice president, Senate president, and secretary to the government of the Federation. That's just by the way. But we are talking about what Senator Ali Ndume, senator representing Borno South, said. He said that President Tinubu had come out to show his support for Godswill Akpabio. This is not news. It's always happened when the executive have always shown a preference for a particular candidate. This happened since 1999 in the era of President Olusegun Obasanjo, who in his time had several Senate presidents because each of them did not fit his own liking. That's what made all the southeastern states, all of them, Abia, Enugu, Imo, Anambra, Ebonyi, have one Senate president each. Yes, that's what happened under President Olusegun Obasanjo. So let's leave the conversation about whether Southeast should have actually become Senate president. But, you know, we're seeing that the president this time around, unlike President Buhari, whose intention was not publicly known, but, you know, we started seeing the chess being played and all that. President Tinubu is not hiding his political interest. He's not hiding his style of political preferences. He has come out, and this declaration by Senator Ali Ndume has put pay to that, that Bola Ahmed Tinubu has came out to meet with senators to plead with them to support the candidacy of Godswill Akpabio. So this is what we all feared. Will this Senate be a rubber stamp Senate? Will Godswill Akpabio go against Bola Ahmed Tinubu, who had come out to publicly meet with senators to plead with them to support his candidacy? Are we going to have an independent Senate? Will the Red Chamber be like the 9th Red Chamber where we had the "Oh yes men"? It's very likely. So any hope that many Nigerians had of possibly having a robust Senate who can disagree with the executive is probably thrown out of the window. That's the unfortunate story that we are seeing today. Will Akpabio betray the loyalty and confidence of the executive? Will he avoid bills that will directly poke fingers in the eyes of the presidency? Will he speak the mind of the people and not the mind of the president? This is what we saw in the last administration of Ahmed Lawan, who, by the way, was sitting in the very room that he presided over just a few days ago. And now he's just a senator, while we have Godswill Akpabio as now the Senate president. It's nothing new. We've had this instance where David Mark was still a senator and somebody else was in charge. And that was Bukola Saraki. But that's not the conversation. The conversation we're having now, which is something you're going to drop in the comment section, is do we now have an independent Senate, considering the fact that the president has stepped in? So when we had the Buhari administration, Ahmed Lawan's choice, it was within the party. Nothing was really heard, even though the president's body language then probably leaned, and nobody knew the president's body language. There's a difference between Buhari and Tinubu. Buhari's body language comes out later. Tinubu wants to come out and say, I don't need to beat around the bush. This is what I like, and this is what I don't like. This is who I want, and this is who I don't want. Is this the same for the House of Representatives? Did the president also have an influence on who became the Speaker of the House of Representatives? I'm talking about the Right Honorable Tajuddin Abbas. If you look at the way people voted, somebody even got up and said, my heart is with Idris Wase, but I vote for Tajuddin Abbas. He almost got a landslide victory in that he's winning. Was that influenced by the executive as well? So if the executive have picked who the Senate president is going to be and pick who the House of Reps Speaker is going to be, is there going to be any change for Nigerians? Are we going to see a new dawn, or is this a repeat of what we've seen in the last 4 years? Another question. Akpabio won 63 to 46, 46 going to Abdulaziz Yari, a former governor who's also contesting. Quick question. Of the 63, who voted for Akpabio? Do we have just 63 members of the House? We don't forget that the APC to other members are 59-60. I think 59-60, yeah, with just a small margin. So people who voted for Akpabio will be across party lines. We'll have Labour Party voting. We'll have APGA voting, the only APGA senator being Ainaya Baribe. We've had YPP voting, the only YPP senator being Senator Ifeanyi Ubah. We'll have PDP senators vote as well. So who voted and who did Tinubu meet? Who did Tinubu meet? That's the question we're going to ask. So is this obviously a concession of the opposition? Did the opposition come out with a candidate and say, we are voting Abdulaziz Yari, as despite the fact that both candidates, Akpabio and Yari, were from the same APC? Last question I want to ask, the question I've been asking since, what will be the difference between the 9th Senate and the 10th Senate. If there is no difference, we'll know it from now. That's all on this episode of Punchline. I am Samuel Jifo. It's always a privilege to have you join us. My thoughts is not as important as what you will say. So drop it in the comment section below, whether you're on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, or YouTube, or even on TikTok at First News Nation. Thank you for joining us. Don't forget, we are always here for you, and the conversations will continue as the political process unfolds. I am Samuel Jifo. Once again, as usual, we ask you to do your best and stay safe.